If you picked up a Garmin Echomap or Ultra Series and you want to learn the functionality of it really quick without reading that freaking ludicrous instruction manual, you are in the right place. Let's hop in. All right guys, so this unit that I'm using is the Garmin Echomap UHD 92SV. And so Garmin Echomap is a series of devices designed for marine use. And it provides detailed GPS mapping, advanced sonar imaging for fish finding, and the features for creating your own fishing maps. This is pretty awesome. So UHD, ultra high definition, 92 is going to represent the screen size, and SV stands for SideVU, which is Garmin's branding of side imaging. Also, you see ClearVU, also Garmin's branding of down imaging, and Garmin ClearVU is a newer and improved version of DownView. And while both types are down imaging sonar, ClearView uses chirp and has a slightly smaller sonar cone than DownView, which will help generate even a greater image quality for you guys out there. All right, so let's hop into the functions of this unit. You have the power key right here. Next to it is your automatic backlight sensor. This is all going to be touchscreen. These four numbers here are going to be your shortcut keys. And down here, most people don't realize what this is, but it's a micro SD memory card slot, which you can open and then you can put in a memory cards. And I'll tell you what you can do with that in a little bit. Also, if you hit this power key quickly, it's going to be a shortcut menu to a backlight, color mode, and sonar transmission when quickly pressed and released. So if you click it like that, you have this type of option available to you. And also, make sure you take advantage of these shortcut keys over here. So let's say, really quick, you're over here on one of your sonars, say traditional, and you really like this traditional sonar, you're gonna use it all the time. How you set a shortcut to this, say you just hold down one of the shortcut keys. I don't think I'm using number 4. So if you hold it down, it'll say page saved to shortcut key 4, boom. And say if I'm on the home page, and I start fishing right away, I can hit 4, and it takes me to my favorite sonar, which is not this, by the way. All right, so now let's talk about the memory card slot. It can be used for 2 purposes. So you can plug in map cards. These will allow you to view high-res satellite images and kind of reference photos of ports, harbors, marinas, and all those other points of interest. So you can use it that way. Or the other thing you can do, you can use this port is to insert a blank SD card and record Garmin Quick Draw, like contours mapping. So Quick Draw contours, you are able to create your own HD lake maps with 1-foot contours. So how this works is if your lake isn't mapped, you can actually map your own lake. You can map it yourself. You can record sonar as long as you have a compatible transducer, and you can transfer data such as waypoints and routes to your computer or another chart plotter. So that's pretty sweet, especially if you fish a smaller lake that isn't mapped yet, you can map it yourself. Now I know this particular device supports a 32 gigabyte micro SD, so just open it up, insert your card, and when you close it back up, make sure you dry out this gasket here so it doesn't leave room for corrosion. So when you turn this thing on, a few things to note. It can take a minute or so, connect to the satellite for GPS, as you can see up here. When it acquires a signal, you will see it's going full green, which is exactly what we want to see. Now, if you want to rearrange things on your home screen, just go over to your menu. You can rearrange, you can add, you can change your background, which I did here. You can change it to water. You can change it to whatever those lines are. So a couple options there for you. I like this one, so I chose that one. Well, you can add your Panoptix here, which you can talk about in a minute. You can make combinations. Nonetheless, you can do that all through your settings and your menu and start making your fish finder display like you want it to. Now let's walk through your options here on all your kind of widgets that you're looking at. Of course, you got Active Captain. So the Active Captain is essentially a connection between your chart plotter and an app, and it's going to be able to connect you to charts and maps and the boating community. Now, as a kayak angler, Active Captain really has very little use to me personally, so I'm not going to go through all of that, but you'd have to download the app and connect it. Have fun with that. Next, let's head to gauges. So if you're to click on gauges, and through NMEA connections, if you had a larger boat, want to connect your compass, your engine, your anemometer, why can't I say that? Thing that measures the wind. There you go. You could view it all in one place right here. Since I'm on a kayak, I have very little use for a lot of the gauges that are represented here. Trip, engine, all these things I really don't utilize this much. But if you're a boat owner, these are definitely some functionalities that you have that you might want to utilize. Next, let's go ahead and click on charts, talk about this a little bit. So you have a variety of different charts here. You have your fishing chart, navigation chart, and perspective 3D. Let me tell you what each of these do. The fishing chart, this guy right here, it provides a detailed view of the bottom contours and depth soundings on the chart. So this chart removes navigational data from the chart and provides detailed data, really enhancing the bottom contours for depth recognition. So this chart is best used for offshore deep sea fishing. You can create waypoints through this. You can measure a distance to a waypoint. You can get information on tides and current and all that type of stuff. So it's kind of fun. So if you were to play around with this, like, hey, how long did it take me to get to, let's create a waypoint, to get to this guy right here in Freeport. So let's navigate to it and route to it. And it is 100.7 miles from where I'm at to get all the way out here to Freeport. And so you can start making maps to get to here from here to stop. And so depending on where you're fishing, I fish a lot of like small lakes. And so I'm not out in open water, but if you are, and you're like, hey, how long is it gonna take me to get from this point to this point? You can navigate through this option and actually create it before you actually get out in the water, knowing how much time you have and how much time you're going to need to be able to get to one place to the next. Other charts, you're going to have a navigation chart. Let's talk about that one now. The navigation chart is going to show, of course, navigation data available to you on preloaded maps and from supplemental maps. The data includes buoys, lights, cables, depth soundings, marinas, tide stations, kind of in an overhead view. So you can kind of zoom out on this and play around in here. I don't use the navigation chart a lot. Like I said, kayak angler, I don't fish open water, but if this could be valuable to you, this is the information it gets you. And next you're going to have, let's head back, charts, perspective 3D. So this one's interesting. This provides a view from above and behind the boat. Kind of according to your course, which is nice. So it's going to provide like a navigational aid. This is helpful when navigating tricky like shoals and reefs and bridges and channels, especially beneficial when you're trying to like enter and exit routes in unfamiliar harbors and anchorages. Like I said, kayak angler, don't need this a whole lot, but if you're using this in a different way on a larger vessel, and that might be beneficial to you. So now let's take a look at our combo screens. These guys right here. So you'll be able to put any combination to your charts and sonar views. They have some preloaded for you. You've got a couple different charts here. I mean, you can combo sonar with your charts. I mean, and if you don't like any of the ones they have preloaded for you, you can just create your own, which is nice. Next, let's talk about waypoints. There's a couple different ways you can track a waypoint through the chart plotter. I think the easiest one is just hit mark here. You can edit that waypoint. You can name it if you want to. You can go through, and if you just don't want it to be a number, you can go over here. You can put a symbol on there. You're like, hey, I caught a 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound, 4 pound, 5 pound, 6 pound bass, or whatever type of fish you're targeting. And then that'll just be a quick reference. Ooh, 9 pound bass, that'd be nice. You can put the depth in, what you caught it in. You also can put it, the brush pile. All these things will mean different things to you, but nonetheless, you can create that waypoint and you can have reference of that moving forward. Another way you can track a waypoint is heading into nav info. Once you click on that, you can not only see past waypoints that you've created, but you can also create a new one from right here. You head back. It's going to give you a couple other options here. We have tracks, this guy right here. And so there's tracks, and as you notice back here, there's routes. So what's the difference between a track and a route? So tracks, there's no save tracks on here. I don't use it very often, but tracks act like a breadcrumb trail, allowing you to see where you or another individual traveled in the past. And so it basically allows you to navigate a path that you previously had taken or someone else had taken and they gave to you to try it out. Tracks contain points, not waypoints or points of interest. Now routes are a little bit different. Let me see. There we go. So a route is a predefined path created from a group of location points entered into your GPS in the sequence you desire to kind of navigate them. So I want to go up here, I want to go down here, and you can save those. All right, also keep in mind you have a limited amount of waypoints and active tracks and routes and boundaries that you can actually utilize. And how you kind of check out what that is you go into manage data, memory usage. You can see that you can have 5,000 waypoints. That's a lot of waypoints. You can save 50 tracks, has so much memory that you're available to you. You can save 100 routes and have boundaries, and it goes on and on and on. But nonetheless, if you're wondering, if you're like, hey, why can I track this particular item, you might have utilized all your memory or your limit on how many you can track within the unit. So I imagine it's different with every unit, but that's how you would be able to find that. Also, if you go to navigation info, you can head over here to other vessels, and you have your AIS list and your DSC list. And so if your compatible chart plotter is connected to AIS, which is Automatic Identification System, or VHF, very high frequency, you can set up how other vessels are displayed on your chart plotter, which is kind of nice. So if you like open water fishing at night, might be a good idea. All right, now let's head back into settings here, and we got a variety of different settings for us. And the Echomap and Striker series fish finders have this thing called a fish alarm. Where's that bad boy at? Alarms. Fish alarm. Where's it at? Doom, 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 doom. Sonar. Fish. There it is. All right, so this fish alarm is interesting. It just shows you a bunch of pictures here. This alarm is going to sound when the device detects a suspended target, right? And it has 3 different settings, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. It's going to sound when any size fish is detected. This one's going to sound whenever there's a medium or large size fish detected, and of course, a large fish here. Now, there is not a defined size of the fish to report them as small, medium, or large. This detection is really based on the transducer signal strength from the target fish. And so there's a lot of factors that affect the return signal strength, including transducer installation and water conditions and fish species. But nonetheless, give you a general idea. You're looking at a bunch of small fish, or you're looking at bigger fish below your vessel. So the best recommendation to utilize this feature is to really learn the local area where you fish. And if the alarm is sounding based off of fish that are smaller than desired, it's recommended to change this fish alarm to only sound when you have larger fish that you're targeting. So it's probably going to be really conducive and indicative of the type of water that you were fishing. And now let's take a look at sonar settings. This is the fun stuff, right? You're going to have your traditional sonar. So if you click on this bad boy, so this is going to be using sound waves to ping objects in the water below. So traditional sonar translates the echoes from those waves into images of fish and structure at the bottom depth you are seeing on the display. So that's how traditional sonar is going to utilize. So this is not why I bought this system. I bought this system for the next two, which is going to be your ClearVU. Oh, look at that. So ClearVU is Garmin scanning sonar that gives you nearly kind of like photographic images below your boat. And with ClearVU, you see structure and submerged objects and fish. Traditional Garmin sonar and ClearVU scanning sonar are combined into one transducer, which is nice. So we're going to head over here to SideVU. This is also freaking sweet. This is also the reason I bought this unit, because it has ClearVU and SideVU in one. So this technology uses sonar to create an image of what's beneath and kind of to the side of the boat. It's different than from traditional sonar in the way that it uses multiple beams of sonar to create a more detailed image, and that's what you're getting here. You also have your split frequency. So in the split frequency sonar view, the 2 sides of the screen show full view graph of sonar data, of course, in different frequencies. So you can do it that way. If you head back here, oh, I forgot. So for the split frequency sonar, it's going to require the use of a dual frequency transducer. So if you're like, well, hey, why am I not getting this? Why won't it show? It's because you might not have the right transducer. And then we have the flasher, this guy right here. So the flasher shows sonar information kind of on a circular depth scale, indicating what's beneath your boat. So it's organized as a ring that starts at the top and progresses kind of clockwise. So depth is indicated by the scale inside the ring, so 26.4 feet in this particular case. And the sonar information flashes on the ring when it's received at the depth indicated. So that's why I see all these numbers all the way down from 0 all the way to 30. And the color indicates different strengths of the sonar return. So now you kind of get an idea of how the flasher works. Typically used with ice fishing, so I'm not going to be utilizing it a whole lot. It's not why I bought the unit. ClearVU and SideVU. Side imaging and down imaging is the reason why. So the ClearVU is down imaging, right? And it's designed to show a high level of detail in a narrow area, a narrow cone under the boat. So while side view imaging sonar is designed to cover very large areas of water to either side of the boat. So that's kind of what you're going to get between the differences there. Essentially, down imaging is going to give you more detail, but small area. Side view or side imaging is going to give you a large area, but less detail. Now, if you have Panoptix, which I don't because I can't afford it quite yet, but this is going to give you your live scoping, and these are all the options there. Your frequently used is going to pop up here. And of course, if you're on a larger vessel, you can kind of click your autopilot to a waypoint and head in that direction. And there you have it, folks. Now, if you have a kayak and you're thinking about this unit or a unit like it and you want to install it to your fishing kayak, I have the install video of how to do that right there. Thanks guys for watching.